What if I told you that just one small everyday nut could begin shrinking your enlarged prostate in less than a single day? No surgery, no expensive prescriptions, no risky supplements, just a natural food you can buy at any grocery store. And yet, most men over 60 have never been told about it. I'm Dr. William Lee, a physician, scientist, and the author of research that has fundamentally changed how the world thinks about food and the human body. For decades, I've dedicated my career to understanding how what we eat either activates or undermines our body's own defense systems. And the prostate is one of the most powerful examples of that principle in action. I've worked alongside thousands of men struggling silently with prostate problems. The sleepless nights driven by constant bathroom trips. The quiet frustration of a weak, hesitant stream. The deeper unspoken fear that something more serious might be developing. I know how these symptoms chip away at a man's sense of strength, dignity, and control over his own body. But here's the truth that most men never hear and that the medical establishment rarely leads with. Certain nuts, yes, simple, natural, affordable foods can measurably reduce prostate inflammation, restore urinary flow, and actively support your hormonal and sexual health. The science behind this isn't fringe, it isn't alternative, it's grounded in peer-reviewed research. It's just been buried beneath decades of pharmaceutical marketing. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most powerful nuts for supporting prostate health, backed by real medical evidence, and show you exactly how to use them for maximum benefit. Stay with me until the end because I'll also share one simple preparation method that dramatically accelerates how fast one of these works. This could be the turning point your prostate has been waiting for. Before we go further, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss a video designed to help men over 60 live stronger, longer, and with greater confidence. And drop a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from, your city, your country. I want to see how far this message is traveling. Nut 1, pumpkin seeds, the natural prostate protector. When I think back across my career in medicine and research, one type of patient comes to mind again and again. Men who are exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. Men who have tried everything their doctors recommended only to feel dizzier, more drained, and no closer to relief. One such man was a 67-year-old retired firefighter who came to my clinic having tried multiple medications that left him dizzy, fatigued, and stripped of his drive. He was waking up 6 times a night. He was losing hope. So I recommended something that made him pause. Pumpkin seeds. He looked at me the way a lot of men do, skeptical. But this isn't folk medicine. This is biochemistry. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of zinc on the planet. And your prostate is essentially a zinc storage organ. It depends on zinc for proper function. When zinc levels drop, which happens progressively with age, the prostate becomes more vulnerable to inflammation and pathological overgrowth. Clinical studies consistently show that low zinc correlates with elevated risk of BCH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, the condition responsible for that weak stream and those relentless nighttime trips to the bathroom. But pumpkin seeds go further than zinc alone. They contain betaol, a bioactive plant compound that blocks the enzymatic conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, DHT, the hormone most directly responsible for driving prostate growth. By suppressing DHT production, beta-tosterol slows prostate enlargement and in documented cases supports measurable reduction in gland size. My patient started eating a small handful of raw unsalted pumpkin seeds daily. Within 3 days, his nighttime trips dropped from 6 to 2. By the second week, he was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. He looked at me at his follow-up and said, "Dr. Lai, I finally feel like myself again. That is not a coincidence. That is targeted nutritional biochemistry working exactly as the science predicts. Here's how to do it correctly. Choose raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, not roasted, not sweetened. Aim for 1 to 2 ounces per day. For best results, soak them overnight in water before consuming them in the morning." This simple step breaks down phytic acid and significantly increases the bioavailability of the minerals. One small daily habit with measurable compounding effects. Nut, Brazil nuts, the cellular defender. Next, let's talk about a nut that operates at the cellular level to protect your prostate from within. Brazil nuts. These are without question the single richest dietary source of selenium on Earth. And selenium is not a minor player in prostate health. It functions as a critical antioxidant enzyme activator, helping your body neutralize the free radicals that drive oxidative stress, accelerate cellular aging, and promote chronic inflammation, the very conditions that make your prostate increasingly vulnerable over time. Selenium also plays a direct role in gnaw repair and immune surveillance. Low selenium levels have been consistently associated in population studies with elevated prostate cancer risk and accelerated glandular deterioration. This is a mineral your prostate absolutely requires, and most men aren't getting enough of it. Here's what makes Brazil nuts remarkable. You don't need many. In fact, dosage precision matters here because selenium toxicity is real. 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day is all it takes to saturate your system with protective measurable benefit. I had a patient 72 years old, years of chronic prostate inflammation, a history of elevated SAW, and persistent nighttime urination disrupting his sleep and his marriage. We kept his protocol simple: 2 Brazil nuts every morning with breakfast, nothing dramatic. Over 3 months, his SAW showed a modest but meaningful decline. His nighttime urination improved substantially. His energy rebounded. He told me, "I feel like I'm actually participating in my own healing now instead of just waiting for a pill to fix me." That sense of agency of taking deliberate evidence-based action is something I want every man watching this to experience. Store Brazil nuts, raw or dry roasted in the refrigerator to preserve the oils. And I mean it when I say do not exceed 2 per day. More is not better here. This is a precision intervention, not a bulk food. Done correctly, this small daily ritual quietly fortifies your prostate from the inside out. Nut 3, walnuts, the circulation booster. Now let's turn to one of the most well-researched nuts in the entire nutritional medicine literature, walnuts. Walnuts are the most concentrated plant-based source of omega-3 fatty acids available to us, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. And if there's one physiological factor that is almost universally overlooked in prostate health discussions, it's blood flow. Poor circulation and chronic inflammation are deeply intertwined. When blood flow to the prostate and pelvic region is compromised, inflammation intensifies, tissue oxygenation drops, and symptoms worsen. Omega-3 fatty acids address this directly. They reduce systemic inflammation, restore endothelial function, the health and integrity of your blood vessel lining, and measurably improve oxygen delivery to pelvic tissues. The clinical result? Reduced urinary urgency, a stronger, more consistent urinary stream, and yes, improved sexual function. Because better circulation doesn't just benefit your prostate, it benefits every system in your body. I had a patient, 68 years old, a man who had quietly accepted diminishing vitality as an inevitable part of aging, who began eating 1 handful of raw walnuts daily as part of a structured protocol I designed for him. 3 weeks later, his sleep had improved, his energy had returned, and his wife told him something had come back to life. That's not marketing language. That's what improved vascular health looks like in a man's daily experience. Eat 1 ounce per day, roughly a handful. Choose raw or lightly toasted walnuts stored in the refrigerator to protect the polyunsaturated fats from oxidation. Pair them with vitamin C-rich foods like berries or citrus to enhance absorption. When you restore blood flow, you restore vitality, physical, mental, and emotional. That is the walnut advantage, and the science fully supports it. Nut 4, almonds, the antioxidant shields, something I often tell audiences when I speak about food as medicine. The most powerful interventions in human health are frequently the most ordinary ones. Almonds are a perfect example. Almonds are one of the richest dietary sources of vitamin E, specifically the tocopherol form that acts as a potent antioxidant within prostate tissue. Oxidative stress is one of the primary drivers of prostate inflammation and cellular dysfunction. Vitamin E intervenes directly in that process, shielding prostate cells from the kind of cumulative damage that compounds silently over years and decades. But almonds don't stop there. They're also an excellent source of magnesium, a mineral that plays a critical role in smooth muscle relaxation, including the muscles of the bladder and urinary tract. When those muscles are in a state of chronic tension, urinary urgency increases and flow decreases. Magnesium helps regulate that, and the monounsaturated fats in almonds support hormonal balance and sustained energy. 2 things that deteriorate noticeably as men age. I had a patient, 64 years old, disrupted sleep, declining energy, frustrated by a body he no longer recognized as his own, who began eating 10 soaked peeled almonds each morning. Nothing else changed. Within 3 weeks, he was waking up only once per night. His daytime energy stabilized. His mood improved. He said to me, "I didn't realize a habit this small could make this much difference." That's the clinical reality. Small, consistent, targeted inputs compound into meaningful improvements. Choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted almonds. Avoid anything flavored, coated, or sweetened. 23 almonds, approximately 1 ounce, is the optimal daily amount. Soak them overnight to improve digestibility and increase nutrient bioavailability. It's a simple preparation step that makes a measurable difference in absorption. Nut 5. Pecans, the hormone balancer. Finally, let's talk about a nut most men have never considered for their health. Pecans. Culturally, pecans show up in desserts. Scientifically, they deserve a place in every man's daily health protocol. Pecans are one of the richest plant-based sources of beta-ol, the same deep blocking compound found in pumpkin seeds. That means pecans deliver the same powerful anti-androgenic effect on the prostate, slowing enlargement, reducing hormonal pressure on the gland, and supporting measurable relief from urinary symptoms. But pecans go further. Their total antioxidant capacity, measured by ORAC scores, exceeds most fruits. They're loaded with monounsaturated fats that support cardiovascular health, hormone regulation, and pelvic circulation. In the research literature, diets rich in these specific fatty acids are consistently associated with better urological outcomes and improved sexual health markers in men over 60. I had a 70-year-old patient who raised an eyebrow when I recommended pecans. "Doc, those are for pie," he said. I told him to give it a month. A month later, he came back sleeping through the night, reporting noticeably less urinary pressure, and looking at me with that particular expression I've seen many times. The look of a man who has reclaimed something he thought was gone. "I didn't realize how much discomfort I just accepted as normal," he said. That's the critical insight. We normalize our decline. We shouldn't. One small handful, approximately 20 pecan halves per day, raw or lightly roasted, always unsalted. Store in the refrigerator or freezer to protect the oils from going rancid. Incorporated consistently, pecans steadily rebalance the hormonal and inflammatory environment inside your prostate. How to start a practical protocol for tomorrow? Let me make this actionable because information without implementation means nothing. Start with 2 nuts from this list. I recommend pumpkin seeds for rapid symptomatic relief and Brazil nuts for long-term cellular protection. Buy them raw and fresh. No coatings, no salt, no added oils. Eat them at a consistent time each day. Ideally with breakfast or as a mid-afternoon snack. Consistency of timing matters for building the habit and for optimizing absorption. Track your progress objectively. Note your nighttime bathroom trips, your stream strength, and your overall comfort level each week. Write it down. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll begin to notice measurable changes. Not overnight miracles, but the kind of steady compounding improvement that tells you your body is responding. Because here's what I want every man watching this to understand. Age is not the enemy. Inaction is. Every deliberate choice you make, including something as seemingly small as a handful of the right nuts, is a biological signal. It tells your body what you want from it. And when you give your body what it actually needs, it responds with remarkable precision. A final word. I've spent my career in medicine and research demonstrating one fundamental truth. Food is not passive, it is medicine. The compounds in these 5 nuts interact directly with the hormonal, inflammatory, and vascular mechanisms that drive prostate dysfunction. This isn't wishful thinking. It is documented peer-reviewed science that has helped real men reclaim their sleep, their comfort, their confidence, and their sense of themselves. You do not have to accept constant discomfort as simply what getting older looks like. Your prostate can stabilize. Your energy can return. Your quality of life can improve, not in spite of your age, but because you decided to take precise, informed action. Start small, stay consistent, trust the biology. Your body is not working against you. It is waiting for you to give it the right tools. If this video gave you something useful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with another man who is looking for real answers. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 nuts will you start with first. Real change begins with small daily choices. You're not just supporting your prostate, you're rebuilding your vitality. And that changes everything.